You came to me in that hour of need, when I was so lost, so lonely. You came to me, took my breath away, showed me the right way, the way to lead. You filled my heart with love, showed me the light above. Now all I want is to be with you. You are my one true love, taught me to never judge. Now all I want is to be with you. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mustafa, ala habibika nabiyika Mustafa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The topic as has been announced is leadership or imamat in Islam, and we are discussing the basic principles of Islam from logical point of view. We have discussed the issue of the existence of God, and after that we moved to discuss about prophethood. We finished the issue on prophethood, and there is another topic related to the issue of prophethood, and that is imamat, that we will continue to do this discussion. If there was no difference on the issue of imamat after the prophet, then we were not going to make it as a basic principle. Just because there is a difference in the two schools of thought of the Ahl Sunnah and the Shias concerning the issue of imamat, so there is an emphasis on the issue of imamat to be a part of the basic principles of Islam. Otherwise, independently, imamat is not one of the basic principles. As adl and justice of God is also not a basic principle. But just because there is a difference between the two schools of thought of Asha'ira and Mu'tazila, so there is an emphasis on God being just, so it became another article or another basic principle. Otherwise, the basic principles are three, and that is Tawheed, the prophethood, and the Day of Judgment. The issue of imamat after the prophet, of course, when we discuss about imamat and leadership, we are discussing in the context of having this religion and having prophet being the final prophet of Islam. After him there is no prophethood, and with him prophethood will end. And so now that the prophet is bringing this message and has delivered the message to everyone, he is leaving toward his Lord. Now, in the absence of the prophet, what is the duty of the ummah? Here, the issue of imamat and leadership comes to be discussed. Now, for the imamat, there is a lot of reasons. There is reason from Quran, there is reason from Sunnah, and there is reason from wisdom. But because we have discussed at the beginning that we are not going to touch the issue of, in this basic principle, in the discussion that we have, we are approaching to the whole issue from the logic point of view. We will discuss the issue of the logic first, and then very short and briefly we will talk about the reasons from Quran and the reason from Sunnah also. But the first argument is basic principles of Islam, the article of imamat from wisdom and logical point of view. The base of our argument is this, that we have proved that God exists. We have proved that God has to send prophets. That is all logically has been approved. Before we discussed about this, all of that logically has been discussed. So we have a prophet based on logic. We have a God existing based on logic. Now that God who has sent that prophet, which all of them has been proved out of logic that we have discussed it here properly with all of the 20-25 time classes that we had in the past weeks. We have discussed it properly. Now, based on those logical discussions that has been offered before, we are basing this argument. And that argument is that the prophet, which was logically was approved to be the prophet of God and sent by God to guide mankind, has to have these few facts in place. Otherwise, he will not be a proper prophet. If this prophet doesn't have these qualifications, he does not have qualification of prophethood. And those are the very important one. We agreed the wisdom is first. So the agreed facts concerning the prophet. First of all, he is just. If he is not a just person, he will not have qualification of prophethood. He has to be just. Injustice will make prophets to be not suitable to receive the message of God. So prophets are not oppressors. They have to be just people. They have to be adil. They have to be caring. Never let you to be misguided. As the one of the attributes of the prophet is that he was harisun alaykum. He was greedy to guide, to that extent that even Allah says to him that it's not too much, you're too much into guidance. This is not how much I want. You are going, out of your way. You don't sleep because somebody is not guided. You lose your, your everything for guiding somebody. And that is the extent of the Prophet being haris in guidance. So he is caring for Ummah. As I told you, he was so greedy to guide that he would send to the killer of his own uncle Hamza 3 times to guide the person who has given him the hard tragedy of the losing of his uncle Hamza, the killer of Hamza. It's just that Imam Hoseini alayhi salam, if Imam Zain al-Abidin or somebody try to guide Shimr, that extent, or guide Ibn Muljam, somebody with that type of characteristic, he wanted even that person to be guided, to that extent that even Allah interfere. So he was caring. And then he was loving, never let you to be disunited. He knows that the Ummah will be misguided, so he has to do some arrangements. He has to foresee the future. He has to do something for us not to be misguided, because he loves us. He will not, somebody who loves you, a caring father at the beginning, before he dies, what he does, if he has some money or houses or some properties, before he die, he will have a will, and he will, even if he is more caring, he will put this house in the name of Mr. A, the house number 2 in Mr. B, the other one will give to the daughter, the other one will give to the wife, that when he dies, there is no conflict between our family. No, a caring father is such. What about a prophet? For his ummah, he dies, and the family of the prophet, which is a whole ummah, will be misguided if he doesn't love and if he doesn't care for our future. He is wise. He never go against wisdom. He will always do what is the best, not what is the good. Between the good and the best, he will always choose the best one. So he is wise. And then he is inspired, instructed by Allah. He is not himself. He is the one which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ma ramayta is ramayt, inna Allaha rama. He is the one which says, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْحَوَى إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَى. It was not me who is talking out of my own faculties. It was inspiration from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he is inspired by Allah. So whatever he speaks, it is something that he is instructed to do that. And that is the inspiration from Allah. He is infallible. He does not do any mistake, and between the good and the best, he always goes for the best. So those are the agreed facts concerning the Prophet. The Sunnis, the Shias, the followers of probably all prophets, they will agree that the Prophet should have this qualification. So otherwise, if doesn't have this qualification, what is the difference between you and the other person? So anyone can become a prophet. Definitely, for sure, prophets has extra qualifications and extra characteristics which made them to be the prophets. That is one. Secondly, if prophet has all of those agreed facts, if we know him as a loving, as caring, as inspired in all of those 5 characteristics, then he has, when he dies, when he demise, when he accepts the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he has only 3 options. Basically, he has 2 options. The other option makes him to be not a just prophet, not a loving prophet, not a caring prophet, not a wise prophet, not an inspired prophet. He has only 2 options. And these three options which we are going to talk about it, including the one which he will not go ahead, which all become 3, we will discuss about. The first one is that if Prophet want to leave this world, the best option is for him to introduce somebody after him. Logic says. We are not talking Quran, we are not talking Sunnah. Logic says that a prophet who is inspired by Allah, which everyone agrees that he is wise and he is loving and he cares, this prophet has to appoint somebody after himself for us not to have any difference after his demise. Logic says. So the first and the best option is the appointment. Now, if he doesn't want to appoint someone, then he has to tell us how to choose somebody. This is the second option. Not the best option, but at least it's better than you leave, and leaving us in vain. That I don't want to impose anyone on you. I don't want to tell you who should be your leader after me. All of that democratically type of manners and behaviors, yeah. But at the end of the day, if you want to choose somebody, these are the criteria. The Prophet must come and tell us what is those criteria. For example, the person which I'm going to choose, it should be man, or women also can be taking the position of the Prophet or leadership. Or the justice is important or no, even unjust person can sit in his chair. Knowledge is important or not. An ignorant person also can lead the ummah. He must come with the age is important or not. Okay? He should tell us about those criteria. Plus, he should tell us how to choose. It should be by appointment. It should be by election, it should be by consultation, all of those. And the third option is that he should not appoint somebody, and he should not give us the direction. He must just leave us in vain and should leave with none of the two options, which is the worst between the three. Now, let us talk about the first option. The first option is appointment. So, it is the best option because Ummah won't divide. It is the wisest option because Ummah will have a leader. From tomorrow, the Ummah will have the leader. He is the just option because justice is to have a leader. And also, it is a divine decision because Prophet is only a messenger. Prophet is only a messenger from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and caring also because Ummah will be safe and they are not going to be divided and they are not going to be misguided. So that is what we believe. We believe that the Prophet went for the best option because he is not supposed to choose the good one. Between the good and the best, the sin of Adam alayhi salam was not a sin like me and you. The sin which Adam has committed, it was between the best and the good. He chose the good one, not the best one. So that was the biggest problem in the side of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. And for Prophet to go for the good one, not for the best one, it's going to be another big sin, which Prophet will never do it. So Prophet naturally goes for the best option, and the best option was appointment. That here somebody is there from tomorrow to lead you, so you should not have no difference. That is the first one. Now, if the Sunni brothers believe that Prophet did not appointed somebody, as that is their belief, that the Prophet left with no appointment. Now then, the Prophet has to give us direction. Direction in all aspects of the leadership. This is good option, but not the best. And also it's good option, but it is the good option in the absence of appointment. If there is no appointment, then the best option is this one. Good option, but not the but no trace of such, that there is no anywhere in the whole books of Ahl Sunnah concerning this. And I've given this challenge to the whole world of Ahl Sunnah. If they can come with one hadith only, with one hadith, and that hadith is not even necessary to be in the Sahih Sittah, in the 6 authorized book. If they come with one hadith from any books of Ahl Sunnah, I can accept. That the Prophet said, I'm not going to appoint somebody, but I'm going to give you criteria. That first of all, it should be democratically chosen. It should be by consultation. It should be by shura system. It should be an assembly of experts. It must give us a system how to choose. And then it has to be between the candidates with this particular characteristics. Men or age or knowledge or justice or health is important or not. Physical ability is important or not. All of those conditions must be given. And those conditions are important. And there is no trace of even one hadith in the entire books of Ahl Sunnah. You go and search, I've done this. From Sahih Sittah to Sahih Muslim to Tirmizi to any of the books of Ahl Sunnah I have searched, I have not found even one hadith that the Prophet telling us how to choose the successor. So what that means? Find one hadith. So what that means? That means that he has gone for the best option. Why there is no trace? Why there is no trace of such a hadith? Because Prophet did go for the best option. He has already chosen somebody. When he has already chosen somebody, when he has already introduced somebody, why he must give us criteria of choosing? Logic says. This is all logic. And the Prophet did not introduce to us the method of choosing a successor for the Prophet, because already the successor has been appointed by the Prophet, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there was no necessity. That's why there is no trace of it. In the books of Shias, in the books of Sunnis, there is no such a trace. There is no such a hadith concerning how to choose a Khalifa, how to choose a successor. So, he has already appointed someone, and there is no need for criteria and the system. According to Quran also, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا لِمُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قُضِيَ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولَهُ وَإِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولَهُ أَمْرًا أَن يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already decided about something, then the prophets, the rest of the community, the rest of the people will have no any choice concerning the election. That's exactly what happened here. Direction in the Shia books. The only trace of leadership system, is found in the books of Ahl Shia, in the books of us, but that is not for the immediate successor of the Prophet. Because immediate successor of the Prophet has been already chosen. Khalifatul Bila Fasil has been already chosen. And in the same hadith that the Prophet has appointed the Khalifatul Bila Fasil, the same hadith talks about 12 people. Only when it comes to the absence of the 12 Khalifa of Rasulullah, there is a hadith in Ahlul Bayt school of thought, which it gives us the criteria. And the criteria says, concerning your current affairs, refer to the one jurist who is more knowledgeable in guard of his nafs, and he is against his desire and follows his master's instructions. That is the hadith from Imam Zaman, from the Imam of our time. When he goes for occultation, there is a gap of leadership. Then he tells us how to choose the person. He gives us criteria now. While before this, there is no any trace of any hadith by the Prophet. This is not also a hadith of Prophet. It is from Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. So, the worst option is that he leaves with no any appointment. Non-appointment or non-direction is actually greatest injustice that he can do to the ummah. You know how you can leave the ummah with no appointment and with no direction. This is the Prophet that when he was leaving Mecca or Medina for about half a day only, in that half a day, he had somebody to be a successor in his place. He would choose somebody for half a day, for one day. When he goes out of town for one day, in that one day there is somebody as a successor of the Prophet. How he can leave the ummah for the whole life with no any appointment of a Khalifa? Plus, I mean, who is more careful for the ummah? The second Khalifa, the first Khalifa, or the Prophet? How it is possible that the Abu Bakr, the first Khalifa, is so caring for ummah that when he dies, he appoints somebody as the successor. But the Prophet doesn't have that care and that love for ummah. I mean, how that can be possible? So, leaving the ummah with no any of those two options is the greatest injustice which can be done for the ummah, and he never done. He will be labeled as an oppressor by the history, and it seems that he didn't care for the ummah and all of that. So the best option is appointment. The good option is direction, and the worst option is none of them. So Prophet logically has gone for the best option, and he has appointed somebody. That's why there is no trace of the second option in the whole history of Shias or Sunnis, because there was no need of that. Certainly Prophet did not left the Ummah with no any what you call guidance. Prophet is wise, caring, loving, just. That this is the instruction, the whole structure of the reasoning. Prophet is wise, caring, loving, just, and inspired. And then either he has appointed or to give the direction. If he don't appoint or guide, he is not wise and just. There is no trace of given direction, so it is out. There is so many traces of appointment, so there is only one logical option remains. He has appointed his successor, and that is what we discuss about leadership of imamat. That imamat has been by the appointment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the instructions of Allah. He has appointed his successors, and that successors is Imam Ali alayhi salam and the 12 Imam, as it mentioned in the books of our Sunni brothers. So that is the logic behind the imamat when we were discussing. Wisdom, verdict, logic says Prophet has appointed his successor by Allah's instruction. And that is Imam Ali alayhi salam in the day of Ghadir Khum, that he raised his hand and he said to him that man kuntu mawlah fahadha aliyun mawlah, which it takes us to the other dimension of the proof, and that is the proof from the Sunnah concerning the appointment of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and the reason from Quran, that inshallah in our coming discussions after the months of Ramadan we will continue this discussion, and we will definitely discuss about the whole issue. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. If there is questions, I will be at your service.
My ummah, he will say, Rasulullah on that day, even though we've strayed from him and his way. My brothers, my sisters in Islam, let's struggle, work and pray. If we are